Welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton, and back from a short hiatus is our Spartan Pro and our lickety-split leprechaun, Bethany McChesney. And with us is one of our favorite people, as always, Carolyne Prevost. And oh my God, I forgot to ask, Alexys, how do you say your last name?
D'Tiole.
D'Tiole.
If you ask Carolyne, that's not how you say it because she's French, and so she'll pronounce it a different way.
I thought that was the French way.
Because her last name is supposed to be French.
Yeah.
The way it's spelled is not the way she says it. So I'll give her how she wants to say it, but the way it's spelled like should be D'Tiole.
There you go.
D'Tiole. But she says it's like a star. And then the two letters are not in the right spot. They gotta get
So she's French and a school teacher, so you can't win, can you, Alexys? You're just boned.
No.
Terrible. So I want to start out right away with how did the quarterfinals go? And you know what? Maybe we should be a little more detail here. So people who've watched our show and listened definitely know who Carolyne is. She's back for a third time. She's amazing, one of our favorite CrossFitter, and Alexys as well. I don't even know, Alexys. Are you a Canadian CrossFitter now, or are you an American CrossFitter?
I'm an American CrossFitter representing Canada.
Yeah, because she represented our gym, CrossFit Coliseum in Toronto for the open and the quarters. Because she's been here since January, which was that initial date to kind of confirm what gym you're doing everything at. And so she's been in Canada since then. So she's part of CrossFit Coliseum as an American.
Where are you guys at?
What's that?
Where are you located?
We're just north of Toronto. Well, I'm northwest of Toronto, about an hour.
I'm London, so I'm 2 hours I'm 2 hours west of Toronto.
Yeah, so we're
like
not far away
from my hometown.
Yeah. So Alexys, where did you come from then?
California. So I'm originally from California. And then I flew out here in January and I haven't gone home yet. Brought the dog. So when I came out here, Coast weighed like 65 pounds. And he could be like, he was at my feet on the plane, but I'm scared to if I travel back to fly on a plane because he's like over 85 pounds now. But yeah.
Of pure cuteness.
Yeah. He keeps making me open the door for him if you see me reach.
How did he like our winters?
When I got here, it was snowing a lot, freezing cold. And I would I packed warm clothes, but I didn't have a winter coat. I didn't even know what is a winter coat compared to a coat. And then I would wear my leggings and they're 3/4 capris. So my shins would still show and were freezing. And then I just had tennis shoes.
Yeah. We're packed boots and she had these little boots, but they're not snow boots.
She had Uggs?
Half the time when she was leaving the door, I'm you could totally tell she was not from Canada. She had shorts and a coat. I was oh no.
It was cold. Coast liked it more than me. He would dig in the snow and everything.
He loved
I would
snow.
Sprint to the car.
We can relate and sympathize. My wife is from Alabama. She's been here for about a year and a bit, so totally understand. And her dog likes it better than her too. It's the same. So how did the quarterfinals go for you guys? The workouts look pretty intense.
Yeah, they're good workouts, I thought, for both of us. We each had one workout that were not in our wheelhouse. We actually didn't end up doing a single workout against each other, which is weird because you would think we'd go head to head, but we didn't. Because we both wanted to be judged by the same person, the owner of the gym. So depending on our strengths, sometimes the one person would go first for the person to have a better workout if they're already going to win that workout between us anyways.
Yeah. The first workout had Carolyne's favorite movement, double unders. I don't know if you've heard about her.
Yeah.
So I did that workout first. And then, so she got an idea of what it would look like if she had double unders.
Put the pressure right on me right away.
She did that workout. We both ended up redoing that one again. Just to for me, it was I had a really good score. That was my best workout. And it didn't affect me for the other workout. So I was like, I'll redo it again with her a second time. So that was good.
The pistol one was my favorite.
That was hard.
With the rope climb, like she would normally beat me. It's fun. It's funny because she would normally beat me in rope climbs and GHDs. Like she was unbroken the whole way for GHDs, and she has better rope climbs than me. But it came down to the pistols, which is one of my favorite movements. So that one, like at first I thought she was gonna beat me, but I ended up beating you, which was once we actually did the workout, we realized how much the pistols was more of a factor than the other two movements. Front squats, we don't really care to go against each other there.
Front squat's my weakest movement out of all of them. Like normally I'm stronger than Carolyne in like all of the lifts, except for front squat. Anything with a squat.
Anything like squat clean, back squat.
Front squat.
Yeah.
So like I knew she was gonna beat me on that, and she did really good. She actually just like retested it because they have the occupational games right now, which is like the same as the age group qualifiers. And the same exact lift again, and she beat her score, so that was pretty cool. Rowing and wall balls.
Yeah,
like she's a better wall ball.
Yeah,
like,
and she's like she smashes me on each of the ergs. Like I don't even come close to her on any of like rowing, bike erg, ski erg. But because my wall balls were significantly faster in like my pace, she wasn't able to catch up or make up for it on the row. Which was interesting too. So we knew we were going to be close on that one. And then the last one with the snatch, you have a better snatch cycle, but my burpee box jump overs were faster. It's really actually like, it's cool to train against each other because like we're very opposites.
Which is interesting because like we program for ourselves. So like when we program workouts, like it mostly will like be half my weaknesses, half my strengths, half her weaknesses, half her strengths. So we come close to tying like all the time.
Every single time. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Like rep, like same amount of reps, same time.
Yeah. Like,
or she'll be like, I touched my finger first.
Yeah. It gets that. It gets literally.
But I would say I'm like more competitive in her, like when we go against each other or lifting, and she's like more laid back. I'll like, get upset more.
If we have lifts and I'm not doing the exact percentage that I'm supposed to do, and I go like a pound heavier than what she had, she takes it personal, and then she'll put on more weight. And like I don't care because she always outlifts me. But like if I outlift her, it's a big deal. That's how it gets. But no, like she said, half the time we tie because I'll be faster on one part of the workout and she'll catch up to me on the other. So it's nice because like in different workouts, it's nice to have someone in front of you pushing the pace. Because when she was in California, we would like FaceTime and we'd go head to head on FaceTime. So sometimes there was like lag. So she'd be like, oh, I'm done. And I'd be like, no, I saw myself finish first. And then she was that the internet connection made it. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, the quarterfinals were good.
Yeah.
We both were in the top 50. And now they're just looking forward to semis.
And now we have to
so there's the results there. You were what, 18th and 44th, I think it was?
Yep.
So that means on the semis. So pretty much, and I do have a question for you, semis, but why don't you tell everybody kind of what that means going to semis, how's that's going to look for you guys?
So the semifinals, there's 4 North America regions, and there's 30 athletes in each. They basically gave everyone their first or second choice from the 120 athletes that moved on. But if you happen to do the open or quarterfinals, or if you are living currently in Canada or Mexico, they automatically put you to the virtual event. So like, I didn't care to stay virtual. She actually wanted to go Granite Games in the States because she does better in person and would rather go in person and virtual. But because she did it here, they automatically took her, what was it, your second choice at that point? Your second choice there. So we'll go top 30 virtual, top 5 will make it on to the CrossFit Games, will qualify. And then from 6th to 8th place, we'll get a second chance at another online qualifier like a couple weeks after for a final 2 spots to the games. So everyone that was like close in each of the 10 semifinals, like those bubble qualifier athletes, will get put in this last chance tournament.
And like our virtual event's going to be kind of similar to how the quarters were, where you have like workouts you have to do during specific time domains on the day, but we really have no details. Supposedly, like all of the virtual events that are happening around the world are having the same workouts, but we don't even know that if that's going to be true.
They gave us an email that said that the workout details would be released like June 4th, I think. So similar to regionals, where I think we're going to have some information prior to the competition. So a few years back, they would release all of the workouts, all 7 of them back then that there would normally be, like a week before the first week of the regionals, and there's 4 weeks. So some people had like a month to prepare. Some people had like a week to prepare. So because we're the 4th weekend to go, we should have lots of time to kind of go over strategies and skill technique stuff.
Yeah.
So one of the things that caught me was, when I noticed this, that you guys had extra people added to yours. And the 2 names obviously that jumped out were Emma Chapman and Tia Toomey. So now, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but did they add another spot onto the last chance qualifier because of that? Or is there another spot added onto the semifinals?
So this week, they actually just took those girls out and put them to live competitions instead. So
Great.
we're not complaining anymore.
Yeah, honestly, that would have sucked
Yeah,
ass.
we made a lot of noise on the games site, like on their Instagram when we heard about that. Like a lot of the Canadians were
Not
upset
happy.
and not happy because, like, if you think about it, them putting all of the Canadians in one event, like Canadians are only guaranteed 5 spots, then, right? Because they're not competing at any other location. And so like if you take one of those spots away, like there's only 4 spots now, and they have to go against Americans and like other competitors. So it just was tough. And then like taking away that spot for us was like taking away a chance to qualify for the games.
Yeah.
Like they're giving away prize money at the semis that they haven't announced yet, but they said it's going to be like pretty good. So like then you're taking away money from that. I would be really upset if I was a 6th place person, like, you know, coming out of the semis, knowing that I would have been 5th if that spot wasn't already guaranteed. So like they did move them to the MAC, and I'm not saying that it's still fair that, you know, those spots might go to like a non-person from North America. Like I still think they should reevaluate it and like take a spot from Oceania, and then like if Tia qualified, well, she should. She deserves to be at the game, so like she should get that spot from Oceania, and I'm sure Oceania is not going to be upset because they knew that spot was
Not available.
pretty much going to go to her anyways. So
Yeah. You would think the situation they could just add a spot or do something. I mean, it's not going to hurt. Like, especially when, what is it? 38 men, 38 women, something like that. Is that the final count?
Yeah, so 38 out of the semis, and then 2 extra spots in that last chance qualifier will be available. But like all they're saying they're doing is wherever like those extra athletes are, instead of going from 6th to 8th, it'll be like 6th to 9th place get added to the last chance qualifier. But that 6th place should have still qualified had that extra athlete not taken a spot to the games. It was funny because like a lot of people like on Instagram were like, well, you just have to beat Tia, and we're like,
not trying to beat Tia.
We're just trying to qualify. Like they're like, well, you know, she could get injured, or she has to earn her spot too. And I'm like, we get it, but come on now, she's the best in the world. But she should compete live. Like you should not have the best athlete in your sport compete online when she's an hour or 2 hours away from a live competition and can sell that place out and, you know, like promote the sport. Like it would be dumb and foolish to put her online when
to do a workout at her gym with nobody there versus live, sell a bunch of tickets, like get people in, like get the community involved, have a bunch of spectators and like people asking what is CrossFit, you know, with her big name there, like it's going to be even better that way.
Well, that was kind of, I guess that was
We didn't mind the
But we
switch.
didn't complain. We
No.
just,
I was
We went
confused.
real quiet.
I thought, like, obviously, especially Carolyne, like, you can't go anywhere else. You can't cross the border. You can't go to anywhere else. You got to do the virtual one. I assume that Tia's situation maybe had been something like that. Maybe she was locked down somewhere, but she was always able to go to the other one.
She could have gone to Australia, but it was like $250,000 basically with like quarantine rules and everything. So like it just made no sense for her to do that. So she could do the virtual.
Yeah.
But she's not in this region, so it just didn't make sense. But yeah, she lives close to a live event, so it makes sense to be added there.
Yeah.
Like I felt like was a natural move, but they have to do something to take away
a spot.
because she takes away a North American spot, and North America and Europe are significantly deeper than any other region. So by her taking this spot and by keeping 3 in Oceania now gets 4 spots minimum. I mean, Emma Chapman is very good too. She's a games athlete, and I had also qualified last year to the games individually through the Open. But lost her spot. So she's not a pushover like either. Like she's a good athlete. So minimum 4 there from Oceania, and then instead of having those 20 spots, you would have had 19 guaranteed spots, which just doesn't make sense. Like the numbers don't justify Oceania having 4 spots and us having 19.
Okay.
So they might switch the rules again. Like
It is CrossFit.
Yeah.
it's CrossFit.
What about even just giving her a bye?
Yeah. They've had the past champions rule before.
Like
Yeah.
give a spot to a past champion and then somebody else got a spot. So like they kind of just make the rules as they go, which like is understandable like with our COVID situation, but in the same like my perspective is like if we want to legitimize CrossFit and like it being a sport and like getting it to a professional sport level, like you have to have like rules or standards that you're going to follow for more than 1 year.
Mhm.
Like we can't keep changing the processes, changing qualifications and all of that, because then it's just like, oh, this is just like a random sport that just keeps constantly changing.
Yeah.
So I think it just has to be standardized and keep the rules and like, you know, not have exceptions, because they're not making exceptions for like Olympic weightlifting or like other Olympic sports. It's like pretty standard.
Yeah. Follow OCR for a while and you'll see some crazy rule changes every other event.
Probably.
Never makes sense. Totally bouncing. So so we kind of established that you guys are actually quite competitive with each other, right? So that's cool. So
she's more competitive with me than I am with her though. I'm a very competitive person, extremely competitive outside of her. I'm okay dealing with that. She does beat me quite often. So like it's I just kind of accept it that like she's better at those skills, and it's nice to have someone like to chase. I haven't had a training partner ever that I had to chase. Like I've had different guys over the years that can push me in certain workouts. Most of the time it was like rowing and wall balls, but I haven't had a consistent person to train with that was like beating me like 60% of the time. So it's been new.
She handles it better than I handle it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. We finish a workout, like I'm okay to talk unless it's a double under workout, then don't come near me because I'm really frustrated. But like any other time that you beat me, like I can chat and we can talk about stuff. But if I beat her, like there's no talking for a little bit.
Just like 10 minutes. Like give me like 10 minutes.
Well, it's good that you kind of understood then each other's tendencies around competition. Do you have any weird, because I know for me before races, I need to get really quiet and like I'm not being rude, and the people that are around me before, yeah, Dave knows too. I just get really internal. And so if people try to talk to me, I just can't. And it's not me trying to be rude. But do you guys have any weird things like pre-race or pre-competition rituals?
So like Carolyne likes to study everything about like a workout, the competition strategy, watch every YouTube video you could possibly think of. And I'm like the complete opposite. Like I don't want to talk, like I'm like you, I don't want to talk before it. I just want to focus and like get in my, like, I don't want to get in my head about things. Like, I'll talk to like one person, like a coach, and ask a couple questions, but like, then I'm good. Versus Carolyne will want to know, like, what is everybody in doing this competition? What is their strength and weakness in this workout? How does she think that they will finish on this? I mean, it's like ridiculous.
To me, as a math teacher, CrossFit is a numbers game. It's a system, and I want to maximize my scores and my strengths and weaknesses within workouts to maximize my points. And like, I know going into workouts, I already know half the people that I compete against, what they like to break up their reps into, where their strong points and weaknesses are, who I need to chase and stay ahead of, who I don't need to chase because they're just better at me than that. So I don't want to get, so like I am like in my lane, but I'm very aware of what types of scores, what's a realistic score that's going to be there, where I'm going to fall within that. And it's like, how can I get as close to that top score as possible? So like I study.
Crazy analytical.
Stay in my lane.
And like I can't talk CrossFit with her because she'll be like, stop talking about CrossFit.
I'll be like, let's just stay in our lane, focus on what we have to do.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm all about the math and the numbers.
We like approach it very differently, because like I'll like to study my workout a lot. Like I'll rewatch my own workout like 5-10 times and look at each break that I did, how long I took a break, and then see where I can make up time, especially in like open and qualifier workouts where you can repeat it. Whereas like she'll get annoyed and be like, stop watching yourself. And like you do that. Like you'll just like if you're gonna redo it, like you already know in your head what you're gonna do differently. And like I'll study to a T my game plan so that like when I'm redoing it, I will beat it with like, this is what I'm changing.
Yeah. And that works for both of us.
Yeah.
Like when we redo workouts, like she'll beat her score for the most part and I beat my score. So like whatever we're doing works.
We're just way different.
Talk about it 24/7.
I love it. I'm all about the numbers. I like the analytical. I like knowing everything in advance. I'm totally with you on that. That makes perfect sense to me. I
think it's like more, I do that in my work, like, cause I work full time too. And like, I'm in strategy and like analytics and like in numbers all day, that I'm like, outside of that, I like to work out. I want to work out hard. Like I'm very competitive with myself and others. So like, if I could just take that part out of it and like, you know, kind of let go of what I'm doing for like the rest of the day, it works for me.
I'm the opposite. I just enjoy it. I enjoy like looking at the strategy and like trying to come up with the best strategy given my strengths and weaknesses.
So
that's how I look at it.
Does your competitiveness with each other extend beyond CrossFit? Because we were thinking, Bethany and I had some examples. We were going to ask you guys a couple of questions about just like different things that you guys might do together, and you guys can say who would win at that.
Okay.
All right, Beth, you want to throw a few out there?
Okay. Let's start then. Actually, this one we were curious in, just because Carolyne, you've competed in some, but who would win if you did an OCR, like a Spartan sprint?
I think I would. Don't look at me like that.
Don't even say you.
I gotta be better at the obstacles than you, but she's a better runner. I still think I can beat her in a sprint. She says no. I'm a better sprinter. She would smash me long distance.
How long is the OCR?
Yeah, how long would be the OCR?
Is it the long one? Like
if it's like the Tough Mudder Mile with like the 10 obstacles of like basically CrossFit stuff.
Well, that's not fair. You already did one of those.
I would get that.
How about a Spartan sprint, 5K?
Me.
Her, I think. Depends how many obstacles and if they're gymnastics related, CrossFit, monkey bar stuff.
Apparently it doesn't.
On the monkey bars. I know, you're probably good at the monkey bars. I think I would be better at the obstacle part and she would beat me on the run.
Okay, so it might be a bit back and forth. Okay, how about if you did a high rocks?
Her.
Yeah.
For the running.
Machines and strongman stuff.
Yeah.
And those, it would be me because those are like my strengths right there.
Like I would love to see her, like they've invited people to like CrossFitters to the bobsled that have like great followers on Instagram and stuff like that. like her ability on the bikes and sleds and just kind of like that power athlete, I think they're missing out on like people like her. Like I'd like to see you in like indoor cycling. Like if you could get some kind of scout to like just see you and then invite you to a camp or something.
I love cycling,
Yeah.
biking.
She's on a machine like every day. I'm not. I'm sitting on the couch. But like she'll do like 15K on the bike every single day and at least 5 or 6 kilometers of rowing. Like she's always on ergs just getting meters. So like that's another reason she's like significantly better than me at like the machines, because she's always on it. It's like her.
It's my yoga.
So if you did a triathlon, then it would be Alexys.
Oh, I'm a horrible swimmer. I would still be in the water probably when you're
100%.
halfway done the bike.
Okay, what about if you did the Spartan wrestling?
Smash you.
I'm like a lover, not a fighter.
I would smash you.
100%.
What about if you did, if you had a Trivial Pursuit night?
Me.
Her.
You're a school teacher.
I'm definitely like very book smart, but I feel like you have knowledge in
Everything.
more.
Variety.
Yeah. I'm very much like in the subject that I was in at school, A. Teaching, like I know I can like have a handle on all of those subjects very well because like I have to know it. But like other things I don't have to know.
But she always asks me like random questions and I'm like, I don't know, Google it. And she's like, but you would know, like you know.
How about go-kart racing?
You're a horrible driver. Me.
I'm a great driver.
I don't know.
I think I'd be good at that.
I think I'd beat you. You'd probably be.
I'd be more aggressive. No, I'm aggressive on the road.
She turns the last minute every time. Drives me insane.
It drives
like
close insane.
You know when like you wait until you're approaching the way you have to turn and then you decide to go into that lane last minute and cut every car behind you off?
That's like a Montreal driver in me. Like it's just like an aggressive. You go. Like you just.
But I live in the Bay. Like I'm from the Bay Area in California, which is like 100% traffic. But still.
What about a breakdancing competition?
I think I'd win breakdancing. Breakdancing and like regular dancing. I'd have more moves than you in breakdancing. Got more gymnastic stuff behind me. I'm going with me on that.
We've had some lip sync battles.
We've really into the RuPaul's Drag Race where they're always like lip singing. So we've had like lip singing competitions.
And I've won them.
She's much better at lip singing. Because you know the lyrics better, that's why.
My expression.
Yeah. I'll take the breakdancing.
How about golf?
Where?
Golf?
Me.
I never really golfed like growing up, but I played competitive softball. So I'd probably be good at like hitting a ball for distance, but I wouldn't like have no idea what I'm doing. Or like
like
about then,
a little bit growing up with my dad, so I'd say I can hit a ball.
and sometimes hockey players.
Hockey and golf kind of go hand in hand. Like
Yeah.
season's like, oh, you're playing golf now.
Yeah. What about table tennis?
table tennis.
Oh, I'm really good at ping pong.
Yeah.
Ping
Pong and badminton, she'd probably win.
ping pong, badminton.
Regular
really
tennis,
good.
it would be me.
I still want to play you. She doesn't know my skills yet for tennis. We haven't tried. There's a tennis court. Every time we drive by it, I'm like, when the weather gets nice.
Can I just say one thing? So like, she was like, she goes, let's play basketball. I'm a ex-Division I basketball player. She was like, I know how to play. I'm really fast. And like, I played in high school. So let's go play basketball. And
I'm
like,
not a D1 player.
so like, to go play basketball. And we were playing one-on-one at first. And it was like 0. We were playing to 15.
Yeah, 15.
It was
15-1.
It was 0 to like 12. So I had scored 12 points already.
She just shoots the threes and just gets it in. She's like Steph Curry.
And this guy was sitting on the side and was like, is she going to score? Is she going to score? And then I was like, I'm trying to let her score. She got 1 point.
I
So it was
scored.
15
I
to
scored.
1. So if you ask about basketball, 15 to 1. She thought she had confidence and she would beat me.
No, I didn't think I was going to beat you at all. I'm not going to beat a D1 player. I was thinking I was going to score a point.
I said you would have 1 point. I would let you have 1 point.
Let me, I had a point.
And then we've also played horses. It's been bad.
Okay, but it's basketball again.
There's Coast.
Hi, Coast.
What about figure skating? Would your hockey skills transfer?
I wouldn't be a good like figure skater, but like I'd be okay.
I've only gone ice skating once. I was pretty good, but I'm not comfortable.
Yeah. I started with figure skating when I was young. It's just a different skate. Like the little picks at the end are different.
Yeah, the toe pick.
Stop. I just use my hockey skates and be artistic. Yeah.
Who would win in an arm wrestle?
She would.
Me.
Her, you see this girl's biceps? They're freaking huge. I have small biceps. Yeah, her arms are stronger than mine. I have bigger traps than you though.
Yeah,
That's about it.
it wouldn't help with arms.
No.
It'd be bicep.
Yeah, it'd be all biceps. But there's a technique to it too. Like if you like turn the hand towards you.
It's all in the wrist.
Wrestling competitions.
You guys got lots of stuff you can do later on tonight. Now you can work all.
Yeah, we're about to like try. We're about to have like the Olympics of these.
Yeah.
The 8th floor gym games.
Do you have any other ones, Dave? That was my list.
No, actually, I think that's good. I think that's great. The one thing though, I did want to ask, and this is kind of you guys have spoke about strengths and weaknesses you have over each other. So dream situation, you guys are at the games, you're tied for first, you're going into the final day. What workouts do you guys want to see?
Can I go with mine?
Yeah.
6 minute time cap, 6 to 7 minute time cap, deadlifts, box jumps, burpees. That's
What
my
about you, Alexys?
short, small numbers and heavy deadlifts. Like I want heavy, yeah. Actually heavy and a lot of reps because I go unbroken on those and a lot of people would break.
I would want like a long, I should say like a moderate distance on the row. So like a 1 to 2K row as you're buying, and then 30 snatches for time.
What's the weight?
Like Isabel.
Interesting.
So something fast, but you have to be well at do well at a machine to get.
Because you'll
to the
get a big
barbell.
lead on the machine and we'll
Has
be
to
able
have a machine though, like any type of machine. Then I could beat Carolyne.
I want like lower body legs, deadlift, yeah, like deadlifts, pistols, box jumps,
Everything I don't.
squat cleans. That'd be my
No. Or overhead squat ladder, huh?
hate them.
Now, do you guys think in a situation like that you would be able to, and that this would be, I mean, obviously hard, one of you would win, one of you would not.
So
How
if I
hard
won,
would
you
it-
mean?
How hard would it be to be happy for each other at the same time?
I think it'd be fine.
Yeah.
If everyone wanted to. As long as we split that money. And I'm number one, of course. I'm okay as long as I'm number one.
I would say Carolyne's like a better all-around athlete than me. Like as far as CrossFit goes, like she has more experience in the individual. I was on a team before I started competing individual. Last year was my first year doing it by myself, and it's a lot different than a team. Like for me, like Carolyne mentioned, like I'm very sprinty, so like very fast paced for a short period of time, and then I get a rest, right? Like on a team, you could do a part and then go take a break and be done. When you're individual, it's like all on you. So like the pressure, like having to understand like what reps to do, what rest to take, and that's a little bit different for me. So I'm still like developing and learning that.
Strategy stuff.
So like that's what I kind of like pick up from Carolyne in practice. So like yeah, if we both make the games, it's great. But like if one of us does, like it's still great. Like we're gonna be there to train with the other person, like get them better. Though I'm still competitive and like. Yeah.
She says that, and she's gonna be like, she. So, no, yeah, like I think the team is definitely different. Like I would want, like I've done team before. I like team, especially if it's a good team. But it's definitely different because a lot of times like your synchro and like she said, or it's like you can split up the reps how you want. You can shine in different areas of the team workouts, or it's a sprint and then you rest. So it's like a hockey shift, basically. It's like you're going and then you get to rest and repeat that. Like I think that would go into my wheelhouse as like a short burst type of athlete. But yeah, like we're gonna do a team event I think soon. The CrossFit just announced like this pair up throwdown thing.
Mhm.
So that'll be the first time we'll go on a team together. We were supposed to do for fun the team quarterfinals because our gym had qualified a team with our scores, but then they ended up being like the same workout. So we're like, no, we don't want to do those again. It was like the week after, and we're like, no.
So you're going to do a pair, like a 2-person team thing coming up? That's cool.
Yeah, it's in May.
Yeah, it's like in between.
I think it's during like the MAC.
No, it's the week before.
The week before the MAC throwdown. You can either be like 2 girls, 2 guys, or a mixed pair.
That's very cool. I'd love to watch that.
It's kind of like team series, I think.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like there's multiple workouts like throughout weeks. I think it's just going to be like 1 to 2, 3 workouts within like an hour time slot.
Sounds like there's good prizes for it too.
Yeah. So we'll try to see if our strengths and weaknesses, if we can cancel each other and get to the top.
I'll just do all the double unders and you do all the burpees.
So I had to do 300 double unders on the spot. It took me 29 sets. Like just beginner style sets of 10s, basically. It was all.
Hopefully you don't have to deal with those for the rest of it.
It's just frustrating because like I work on them and I was dreaming about them last night. I was like middle of the night, like working on my freaking
3 in the morning. I like something is shaking. And I was like, what is going on? And she's flicking her wrist wonders in the middle of the night. I was like, Carolyne, what are you doing?
Last night I'm like, but I need my wrist to be higher this way. I just looked at my video. I need it like this. I'll go on like this. Like she's looking at me and like takes my hands like, stop it.
Go to bed.
I'm just preparing for tomorrow's 300 double unders on the spot. Like do better at double unders if it's like small sets and within a lot of rounds. But when it's like a big chunk, I'll start well and then it just goes downhill from there. Where I'm like sets of 2s and 3s after that. It's fine. She's like, good job. That was a really good set. And it was like 10.
To cheer you on.
I know. I was like, you
She
gotta
said
like
if
get my
it's
confidence
a
up.
good set, just say good job. She would do like 10. I'd be like, great job.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I got a couple of quick multiple choice questions for you. This is just something throwing out there. Okay. So the GOAT, greatest of all time, Froning or Fraser?
Fraser.
Yep, Fraser.
Murph or Fran?
Individually, Fraser. But like longevity, like you
Fraser.
can't deny. No, but like you can't deny Rich Froning being able to stay long. But individually, to me it's Fraser. But the way that Rich has been able to stay at the top for that many years is pretty impressive.
Gross. Get out. No, you can't
Like,
come in yet.
Rich's best is not better than Matt's best.
You went into the
All
floor.
right. Murph or Fran?
Murph.
For him.
I kind of thought that was coming.
I love Fran.
Deadlift or squat?
Deadlift.
Nice. Road trip or flying?
Road trip.
How long is the road trip? and who's with me?
Who's driving? All inclusive.
I think I'd like a road trip.
Yeah, road trip. All right. All inclusive or adventure?
Adventure.
Adventure, I guess.
Rap or rock?
Rap.
Rap.
Speed or power?
Power.
Speed.
Can't come in yet.
Just because you said power, I'll say speed.
Kipping or strict?
Strict.
Kipping. All day.
Same thing, like my strict movements are a lot better than hers. Strict pull-ups, strict ring muscle ups, strict handstand push-ups. But then if you add kipping, it's her.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Something I wanted to go into with you guys, and I hope you guys are a little more prepared for. Anyway, you're both really big as far as advocates of inclusion and diversity in sport. And I read an article about you, Alexys. That was a really good article on the CrossFit page, and we've talked to Carolyne about that stuff before. How do you guys feel CrossFit is doing with that, and how can they improve, and what can other sports take from that? How can we make it better, essentially?
You want to take this one? You want to start? Sure. I think they've made good progress with the transition of CEOs, and they've done some good like scholarship programs and stuff like that. And they're starting to post a little bit more people from different countries and kind of like what they're doing. They've been like CrossFit's been very inclusive in general in terms of adaptability this year. They've added those divisions, which I think was a huge for those divisions, which are very important. But I think in terms of like education, there's still ways that they could present, like you've talked about this with me, which opened my eyes too, like the way that they teach like the level 1 to make it more accessible to, different people of different backgrounds, the language they could switch. I think you still don't have a lot of representation at the games of people of color. Like she's the top person of, like you're the top Black athlete this year and last year too for females. I don't know where, like who it would be for the guys. Chandler Smith. But yeah, there hasn't been much support or sponsorships, I guess, involved with that or anything like that. I guess you can expand on what your ideas were with the like level 1s and everything like that.
Yeah, I actually met with CrossFit a little while ago too, just like talk, and I think they've gotten better, but I still think there's more room to grow. Like we had like a big, period of time where it was like Black Lives Matter, diversity, inclusion, and then it kind of went quiet for a bit, where, you didn't see like the continuity across to say like, what are we still doing? How can we still get better? Like, what's our long-term and short-term plans to like be more inclusive? And I wish they would like show that a bit more on what they're doing. One of the ideas I had is like, they have like the scholarship program for like level 1s and like getting that education piece. But another big factor for me to like get more diversity and inclusion within the sport is to like offer scholarships to like, youth or even people like of all ages to come into a CrossFit gym. So what I said that looks like is, that person, if they can't afford a membership at a gym, they could fill out an application to CrossFit HQ, and HQ subsidizes that with the gym. And they just have like a pool that they could use to sponsor like people to go, whether it's like a year and you just keep reapplying and that sort, to like help them bring diversity within a gym. And then other things are like, doing fundraisers or like, again, like sponsoring like the athletes, from all different backgrounds, so that we could have better representation and, share that at the table. Cause I don't think there's still enough of that. And they're trying to do more on social media, but it does go past just like, what can you post to like, what are you actually doing? Which will be big for that. I've talked to them about like their inclusion, like, at their headquarters and how they're like broadening their diversity of staff. And I think that's going to be big for them to like have, like D&I like at that level and kind of trickle it down to their whole corporation so that it can be better outreach too. So
like they've had some scholarship programs that they added in Atlanta. They did to different youths. I think it was Atlanta. Do you remember last year?
Yeah.
And gave a bunch of young people of color basically a level 1 certification so that they could have a certification to continue coaching possibly in CrossFit later on and have that valuable certificate. Okay. But like, even if you look at CrossFit adding Noble this year, right? Like I love like their stuff. But every time I've gone on the website, it's been, you know, not really available, and like the stock hasn't been available. It's very expensive. So they talk about being like more inclusive. I'm getting my French mixed up right now. But it's just like they're still missing, I think, some like Reebok before, you know, at any point in the year, there's 30 to 50% off. Very accessible to like everyone to get a t-shirt for like $10 sometimes, $20. I think like the cheapest t-shirt on for Noble is like $60, like $40 to $60 American. So just like looking at the different sponsors that they're adding and just making sure that they're also valuing inclusion within their like organization, I think is really important too.
I also think it's tough because like if you look at the areas that have like minorities or marginalized communities, like it's in big cities that are densely populated, and the infrastructure costs a lot more to have a CrossFit gym within that area. So what does that mean for the CrossFit gym? They have to have higher prices. So they're not able to reach that lower income family who may like live in that area and walk by that gym every day. So it's like, how do we get those people who don't have like, who can't afford to go into the gym and have that gym membership? Because when something like COVID happens, like the first thing to go is your gym membership, like all of your luxuries to have your necessities. So like, it's more of like, how are they doing to get those people in, reach the communities that are in those areas, especially for those gyms, you know, like maybe those gyms want to have like a better outreach, but with them having to afford like the rent and affiliate fees and everything else, like gym, like they can't lower their prices anymore because then they're not making any money, and gyms don't make money as
But I think regardless of like the money thing, because you know, there's white people that are poor, there's black people that are poor, like regardless of the money, you have to look at why are black athletes not doing CrossFit, and why are they playing, you know, soccer, baseball, basketball, all of these other football, all these other sports, because they can get an education paid for eventually. They can get a scholarship. So it's not valuable to them to do CrossFit.
Yeah.
There's no value there for those athletes to do CrossFit. So we're missing some of the best athletes on the planet because they don't see that they can get their college tuition paid for. Whereas if you look at a parent and they're struggling at home, they're like, do well in school and play, you know, these sports are going to get you a scholarship in that. So until we can make a better sport out of CrossFit and they can see, you know, consistency in payments for the athletes and support for the payment, like for the athletes, you're not going to get the top and the fittest, like teenagers and just people in the world, like doing CrossFit, because there's not enough money in the sport.
It would just be like a
education.
It's to their other sport.
Exactly. It's like, let me do CrossFit for baseball. Let me do CrossFit for golf or football or whatever sport that is going to get a scholarship. Because there's no value for people to do CrossFit. Yeah.
All you can do is get a scholarship to weightlift.
And there's only a certain amount of people that make a lot of money in CrossFit. For the most part, like everyone's working full time, having jobs, so it's just not worth it. So I think something needs to get done there. Like, I don't know if it's like a federation, if there's scholarships eventually, if there's like an organization, like, I don't know if they could get added to like a D1, eventually D3, something. There's got to be a future, because right now, like, youth, people of color, they don't see the value, apparently. Like, you know, it's just not there.
I'm gonna make sure like the kids that are doing CrossFit right now go to school.
Oh, that's another thing too. Like, you have a lot of these teens that are pushing off college and university and not really going to school again. Like, everyone's getting homeschooled and stuff like that for CrossFit. That'll be interesting in like 4 or 5 years where they're going to be. But yeah, I think the whole issue of why are people of color or like not doing CrossFit as much, I think the big issue is like
longevity, like
where they go with that sport. Like, there's only a certain amount of people that make money. Like, if I'm a parent, I'd be like, don't waste your time going there. Like, train for this sport that's going to pay your $50,000 tuition in the States. Like, makes it just doesn't make sense to put everything in CrossFit.
So do you think, oh, sorry, were you jumping in there, Beth?
Oh, just Alexys fundraiser that she's doing right now. Talk about that too. You're doing a fundraiser now. You're selling the shirts.
Yeah, so I made a shirt it says representation matters on the front. And then just the year, my home gym, and then my name on the back. I'm actually not fundraising for me to like compete or anything. Like my goal is to use like my platform, you know, the like groups of friends and connections that I have to fundraise for 2 nonprofits, while still like selling a shirt that they could use to like represent kind of like the message, and then still like show support for me like competing and everything. So I'm selling shirts, and then the proceeds are going to 2 separate ones being split evenly. So the first one is Stop AAPI Hate. So we've seen a lot of increase in like Asian hate crimes, and especially on the elderly lately. So the goal with that one is to fundraise for that organization, which helps for their safety. And my coach from back home is Asian, so I asked him which nonprofit that would be the best to donate for that. And then the other one is called Black Futures Lab. So they're another nonprofit that's closer to home too, where one of the founders was big with the NAACP and Black Lives Matter, and they help like progress Black youth through their organization too. And then the company that I work for, whatever gets donated, Cliff Bar. So I work at Cliff Bar, and they do 100% match of employee donations. So once I donate half and half to those ones, they're going to match it. So it's just a way that I could use my platform to like raise awareness and fundraise for 2 groups to help, you know, however I can. I don't see it as more like there's more people out there that need it more than me. So any way I could help and like use that has been like my focus right now.
Is the deadline
like 4 or 5 days from now?
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, well, jot me down for a shirt for sure. I want one of those.
Thank
I'll
you.
take a Cliff Bar because I'm kind of hungry.
I get boxes of Cliff Bars. I haven't got that yet.
You know, honestly, I think part of what will help with inclusion and diversity is people like yourselves and just positive role models, people stepping up, people being involved, and, you know, hopefully that filters down. Definitely, like you say, everybody can do more. Everybody can be more involved. I think actually the school system, like you say, that's the true way to get, I totally agree. That's the true way to get more people in. And maybe if one day, because we suffer from the same thing in obstacle course racing with, you know, inclusion is shit there too. Maybe if either of those sports make it to, say, that Olympic level, and then yes, I think is when you'll see it all filter down through.
Olympic or a professional level where there's a future, there's a budget for athletes, there's salaries, but until there's not that, like it's just going to be, like you said, like a supplement for like another avenue for another sport. So we're missing out on some really good athletes.
And they tried to do like a grid league, but it wasn't through CrossFit.
No.
And it was too like specialized and not tested, and just like all over the place where they tried to make professional like fitness athletes. But I think it just needs to come from CrossFit. And like that should be the foundation for it if it's going to be a long-term like professional sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think just continuing to like have discussions with people like online, and like you're really good at like calling people out, like when something is not right or if something is said, or how, you know, how they can get better. So it's just like sometimes people don't know. So I think it's important to just continue to have discussions and just continue to educate on different things. Like there's like with our hockey team this year, like we had to take a lot of classes on diversity and inclusion, and it was part of our just our education with the PWHPA. And like I learned a whole bunch of stuff on like cultural appropriation, and you know, just a bunch of stuff I didn't know, like black hockey leagues that existed before that we stole stuff from, hid them in books. Like it's really interesting. Like there's so much to learn, like you can never stop learning about it. So
yeah, I used to be like really quiet and just like have my opinions with my friends on like how I would feel like in the past, and like over the last couple years, like it's been big for me. I don't like call people out or like practice cancel culture or anything like that. But I'll message someone and say like, hey, you said this, like, here's some of the reasons why like it would come off as offensive. Like, you know, I want to like have a conversation with you separately, like not call you out, like not be one of these people who are going to like put you on blast on here, but like, let's have a conversation as two friends or like two peers. So we could understand like why this would be offensive to one person or why like it comes off like as hurtful for somebody and like those
Just
pieces.
like we talk about white privilege a lot, like together, all the time. And like, she'll talk about different things that I've been like privileged of getting and having. And like, sometimes I don't even think about it. Like, I'm like, oh, but then she'll put it into a different perspective. I'm like, okay, I understand like where you're coming from with that. Yeah, you'll often.
I'll admit by myself, you know, and I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I'll admit myself, just this year with all the issues that happened, I actually really kind of truly finally learned what white privilege was. I never understood. I was like one of those people who said, well, I had a hard life. I didn't know, right? And you know what? What it was I just had no idea what was meant by white privilege. I didn't get it. I was not, I guess the right word is I was not educated. I was not informed. And it was on another podcast where they had it where a Black father was speaking, and he said that he has to have a discussion with his son saying, you know, in a situation, if you get pulled over by the police, you act this way, you act that way, you do this, 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 and this. And there was a list of things that he needed to do behavior wise. And as a father of a teenage son, that's a conversation I did not have to have.
Yeah.
And that was what rang the bell for me, was like, was not aware. And, you know, so what I'm saying is, by you talking to people and educating people, it does get through. So there are stupid old people like me who are still learning. So keep doing it. It's worthwhile. We're slow, but we're getting it. And I appreciate it. I just want to say, I think you guys are great. And I think the world needs smart women like yourselves who are willing to speak up. And for God's sakes, don't hold back. Just say the truth. You know,
I have no filter.
Yeah, she calls me all the time.
Beth, do you have anything else? I have one more question, and if you guys are all right, unless Beth, do you have anything else to?
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
So, and this is strictly for you, Alexys. In the event, you guys are very close to that last qualifying spot for the games. In order to get that edge, are you going to put Coast in the room with Carolyne while she does her workout just to get that edge? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will be putting a video in here and you will see. But there is definitely a home field advantage
to sabotage her. Like, it doesn't matter what the workout is. Like, he'll lay in her spot. Like, he'll take her handstand push-up mat,
just
sleep on it. Like, she's trying to demo for her kids at school, and he's like, I've set up barriers in the house to try to keep him from getting to her, and he jumps the couches just to get to her.
We have like the ROMWAD mats, like making a fort. I'll jump over it. She's here doing like, because a lot of times when I teach my phys ed class, not like my science class and stuff, but my phys ed class, I'm like doing a workout with my kids. And then he always jumps the fort, comes to my side. She's doing the workouts in the background, like over there. And if he goes to that side, he's like laying down, all relaxed. I can't give him my back for 2 seconds and he starts to hump.
So
and he never humps anyone, anything. I've never seen him hump a dog. It's me, and it's just here. Because like if we're at the gym, he just sabotages my air. Like I was doing lunges today, and he goes right in my lane. I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. I'm just gonna overhead around you. You just stay there, Coast. Like he's on my handstand mat. He'll be close to my pedal. Anything to really get in the way.
Barbell. He likes to eat his bones on her barbell. So it's great. Like he knows like the deal. Like then I sneak him extra treats. I'm like, good boy.
Oh, Bubba, show your face.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
no,
thank you.
it's just here that he really gets like that. I think it's like the small area of like the workout place that we have here, and he gets so excited he doesn't know what to do, so he just humps. Making noises now. He's like, "Don't talk to me about me, mama."
Well, thanks so much, guys, for joining us. Thanks, Carolyne, for coming back again. It was really nice to meet you, Alexys.
Yeah,
And
nice to meet you.
congrats on your performance so far, and really, honestly, good luck in the semis. We hope you guys both make it to the games this year.
Thank you. We hope so too.
Yeah.